Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode number 49 of Brat Said That. Yes, I am your host, Brat Jackson, along with my co-producer, Chad LGBT. Welcome everybody to a late night Brat Said That. And I'll be honest, we're gonna start a little different. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play because it is opening day for the MLB. Yes, I'm excited. Baseball is finally here. We had a little bit of sliver with the World Baseball Classic. You know, spring training always gives us a little bit of an appetizer. But now it is fully going on. And yes, as you can tell by the hat, I am a White Sox fan. So I am looking forward to losing 95 games this year. But not to start off negative, even if we did lose 13-1 last game. But dang, I got a little baseball documentary on in the background. If you guys want to look at baseball documentaries, definitely try Ken Burns Baseball. It's like 9 series. It's fantastic. I don't think it's been like updated since like 98. But still, if you want to get into baseball, that's a documentary to get to. But we do have to start always inside the square circle, and SmackDown just ended. I've seen little bits and pieces of SmackDown, but we're gonna go over the show. I got the results right here, you know, from the bodyslam.net. Make sure you always check out bodyslam.net for all your wrestling news. By the way, it took me 10 minutes to hook this dang thing up. That's what happens when you're a one-man show, A-Rod. And Mark Teixeira. No, that's A-Rod. Anyway, so SmackDown. We had Jelly Roll. Yes, the country singer Jelly Roll. He wrestled Kit Wilson. Gave him a chokeslam and won. That's absolutely insane. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair versus the Bella Twins. Brie and Nikki, the clones. The Bella Twins win after a little interference from, I don't remember who it was. But Bayley and Layla came down. And, you know, like we said, we talked about WrestleMania and the matches and the pieces of the puzzle. Well, it's pretty much confirmed that is going to be the WrestleMania tag team event for the women. Let's make sure. Really, nothing else has been added. I mean, there are stuff that's added, but we'll get to that soon. Let's see. Rhea Ripley and B-Fab. Now, Jade Cargill, she's got Mishin and B-Fab. Still, you know, I think they need a little bit more to be honest, but, you know, gives a focus for Rhea to kind of, you know, pave the way to get to Jade at WrestleMania. So, and it gives B-Fab and Mishin something to do because, you know, I think they deserve to do stuff. They're on the roster, put them on the show. And then, obviously, our favorite, he has been a staple in this household since he's come and debuted. Danhausen is just, we're big fan Hausens in this house, okay? He put a curse on Kit Wilson, which that led to him losing to Jelly Roll. I can't believe I just said that, but hey, Jelly Roll looking fantastic, okay? When you have the money and the willpower and the money and the as much as Danhausen he is Goathausen. He is great Hausen. Yes, Joey Frazier. He is great. But did you watch SmackDown? What did you think? Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn, WWE United States Championship. And we have a new United States champion. Sami Zayn once again won the title. And it's official for WrestleMania 42. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship. Now, perfect. Yes, Trick and Sami made it exactly, Joey. You know, that's a good match for both of them. Now, I was talking a little bit about it. I don't want to see Carmelo Hayes just swept underneath the rug. Okay? I think it's going to be a little bit more now. The United States, I want to say Ilya Dragunov. You put Trick Williams, obviously, Sami Zayn, Carmelo Hayes. They got to do something at Mania. Trick Williams is a great contender, but Carmelo Hayes, he has held that title for a while. Ilya held that title for a while. They had their open challenges. So if they're just completely bagoshed for Mania, you know, that wouldn't make much sense. But Jacob Fatu Drew McIntyre. That is also another match official for WrestleMania. Unsanctioned match. Nick Aldis is like, I'm done with you two. Take it up at WrestleMania. So that was going to be what we thought would be the two others in the main event between Cody and Randy. But now they're doing their own little segment, which is great because those two are fantastic together. So I'm really looking forward to them going all over Allegiant Stadium. Julia and Tiffany Stratton, that's going to probably be a WrestleMania match. Let's see. Julia, Kiana James, the prettiest moonsault ever. Julia wins by pinfall. Bayley and Valkyria are interviewed backstage. We talked about that. Poor Matt Cardona versus Orton. Like, what are you doing with Cardona? Is it worth him coming back? Orton immediately puts the boots to Cardona. Matt recovers and clobber him with the cash, just like good old Cowboy Bob. Randy Orton wins with an RKO. Post-match, we see Cody Rhodes drive up in his bus, which, if you wanted to see the Las Vegas Strip with Cody Rhodes, you could have took his tour in his bus. It would have been $10,000. And it sold out. So somebody actually bought that. Let's see. Randy Orton comes back. Jelly Roll gets an RKO, and that's the show. So SmackDown, it's leading up. It added 2 more matches. Drew and Jacob, Sammy and Trick. So we got 8 matches so far. I expect another 8 to be announced. What other matches? Let's see. Intercontinental Championship, you need to have Penta. I'm thinking Penta versus Gunter. Americano, Kaiser, Americano, Gable. That's for 2 dang sure. The multi-women tag team match, that's for sure. That's 3 right there. Who else? LA Knight needs to do something. Braun and Seth is going to happen. Braun Breaker's going to come back. What else was that? What was I thinking about? The Usos and the Vision. I think something's going to happen next Monday on Raw. That's going to lead the Usos to face a Vision. And I don't see... Let's see. Any other matches? Am I missing any champions? We're all WWE Universal. Both women. Intercontinental. Julia versus Tiffany Stratton. I think that's really it. LA Knight, if they can get Jericho, I would love to see Jericho versus Knight. That's more of a fantasy booking. But I don't think we're going to see Jericho in time. Roman and Punk, obviously. So that's really... What other matches would you add? WrestleMania is shaping up to be a really good show. Really, really, really good show. I don't see any Dominic and Finn. Yes, Dominic and Finn. That's gonna be one. I'm talking to myself. I'm agreeing with myself, and I really think that's it. You don't really like Aleister Black. What do you do with him? Over Family Brock. That's a great match. That's official, but I don't know what other matches you would really add for WrestleMania instead of the ones we said. Americano, Dom Demon. The women's tag match. Who's the women's United States? That's Julia, AJ Lee. I mean, we're kind of filling out all the boxes. You can have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on there. I've always hated. I think you're going to do a tag team match too. So you got Usos Vision. That's going to be for the World Tag Team. The SmackDown is Damian Priest and R-Truth. Oh, Jelly Roll is probably going to be on there. Danhausen. I think Danhausen is going to put a curse on Tom Brady. I think that's what he's going to do because I think Tom Brady is going to come at WrestleMania. I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't really know what other feuds you can really do that would make it WrestleMania worthy. Do they have the WrestleMania card on the SmackDown yet? No, so yeah, just let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. SmackDown, was good. WrestleMania. But before we get to WrestleMania, we have the Hall of Fame. 2 inductees have been announced. Bad News Brown and Sid Justice. Now, I've kind of really liked the platform that the WrestleMania Hall of Fame has gone. You got AJ Styles, who's the headliner. You got Stephanie McMahon as like the woman inductee. You have Demolition Tag Team inductee. Bad News Brown and Sid Justice for the legacy. Sid Justice definitely belongs I don't want to say belong, like, who am I to say who belongs where? But Sid Justice, I mean, he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think I have his autograph somewhere. He passed away just a few years ago, which is sad to see. I want to see these guys get in the Hall of Fame before they pass away. Hey, McGrady. Hey, McGrady, what other matches you want to see at WrestleMania? We're talking about the Hall of Fame. Sid Justice, he main evented 2 WrestleManias, one against Hogan and Undertaker. He might have pooped his pants in the Undertaker match. But WWF champion 2 times. WCW champion. We all remember the first season of the internet with him breaking his ankle. But I think he definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. Now, a guy like Bad News Brown is more like a legacy. Like this guy had good moments early on. He might have been known for more of his time outside of WWE, like Stampede Wrestling. I remember he had a huge Stampede Wrestling. Like, if you want to, after he left WWF, went to Stampede, and was really the guy. So it's good to see him. He didn't do too much in WWE. I don't think he was in WWE for too long. We all remember him and Rowdy Piper and Piper. Yeah, Danhausen on both pre-shows. I could see Danhausen being a focal point, and I definitely see him doing a backstage skit with Tom Brady. I think that would make perfect sense for Danhausen. But I don't know. Like, I don't think he's going to wrestle. I don't think The Miz and Danhausen are going to win the tag team titles. I don't even know Danhausen's physical ability yet, if he's injured. But, But back to the Hall of Fame. I want one more Hall of Fame member. Okay, right now we got Stephanie, AJ, Demolition, Rodman, which is great, Sid, and Bad News Brown. I think one more addition. Jelly Roll, Chokeslam, Kit Wilson. 1, 2, 3. And then RKO'd by Randy Orton. By the way, McGrady, today's theme is baseball. MLB is back. I'm excited. We're going to talk all about that coming up soon. But I think they need to add one more person into the Hall of Fame. And that is Bray Wyatt. You put Bray in the Hall of Fame. That would cap off Stephanie, AJ, Demolition, Rodman, Sid, Bad News Brown. We have a few more weeks. I don't think they're going to announce too many more names. I don't really see who else they can announce. They might throw out like a couple of those like older black and white superstars like that we our parents grew up on. But Bray would definitely be one that definitely get a tearjerker. They do him. Oh, the Warrior Award too. Yeah, I think he would definitely. Who needs like a Warrior Award is like a Jim Johnson, somebody like what's his name? Young Nate. What's Young Nate? Charles Robinson. Those guys that work backstage, but he is something else. I miss him. Yeah, he was like a solid guy, and like didn't have like the body of a Ultimate Warrior, but he was, the gimmick was over. He was over, and he passed away too soon. See Rob, yeah, he is. I would figure you would know all the referees. You changed your photo. Your photo's different. What are you standing in front of? What is that, New Japan? The dojo? But McGrady, you're coming to Vegas, right? You've been coming to Vegas out for the last few times. But we're going to go back in time, McGrady. What do you want to start with? You want to go back to 2001 or you want to go to 1994? Or not 1994, 1988. Yeah. So we gotta do the we're gonna go back in time real quick because we've been doing this segment for a little bit, and I think it's appropriate because of WrestleMania that we have to go. The phone is ringing, McGrady. Yeah, you ring it. Hello. Yes, it's me and McGrady. We're hanging out. Really? Today? We're going back all the way to WrestleMania 4. When did that happen? Was that 88 or 89? I can't tell. I wasn't alive. No, it was 88 because I wasn't alive. Oh, yes. March 27th, 1988. I was in my mommy's tummy. Okay, we're going to talk about that. All right, thank you. All right, McGrady, we're going back to 1988 WrestleMania 4. Anniversary was obviously 38 years ago. Today, the biggest, longest tournament that we've ever seen at WrestleMania. And we're going to go over the entire show because it was built up to be the rematch between Hogan. You were born 89? Yeah. We're both in our 30s. It was built up to be the rematch between Hogan and Andre. Okay? But then we all remember what happened this Tuesday. Was it? Let's see. What was it? The Tuesday. Background. What happened? Was it this Tuesday at Texas? Survivor Series, right? When we had the Bukkake finish, and they're like, you know what? We're stripping Ted DiBiase, Andre the Giant of the WWF Championship. We're having a tournament. That's what happened, right? The matches were Bad News Round, which you just talked about, future Hall of Famer, won a Battle Royal, eliminating Bret Hart, real quick. Then you have the first round match. Ted DiBiase defeated Jim Duggan. Don Morocco defeated Dino Bravo. Greg Valentine defeated Ricky Steamboat. Randy Savage defeated Butch Reed, not Butch. One Man Gang defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. Jake Roberts wrestled Rick Rude to a time limit draw. So, that's the first round. Then you have the Ultimate Warrior defeated Hercules. Quick match, 4 minutes, out and bang. Then the match everybody wanted to see again, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Double disqualification in the quarterfinals. Ted DiBiase defeated Don Morocco, quarterfinal tournament match. Then Randy defeated Greg Valentine. And then we have Brutus Beefcake. He defeated the Honky Tonk Man in a WWF Intercontinental Championship match. But Honky Tonk won by disqualification, or Brutus won by disqualification. That means Honky Tonk Man is still the champion. Then a random 6-man tag. Haku and Tama and Bobby Heenan defeated Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, and Coco Beware. Semi-final match, Randy, One Man Gang, and then Ted DiBiase gets a bye into the finals. Demolition Axe and Smash, future Hall of Famers, defeated Strikeforce, Tito Santana, and Rick Martel to become the WWF Tag Team Champion. And then the tournament finals, which is obviously the best match on the card. Randy Savage taking on Ted DiBiase and becoming WWF Champion. We remember the whole show. Hogan would come down, interfere. Always gonna make it about himself back in the 80s. But Randy Savage became champion. I know there's a lot of Randy Savage fans. I'm one of them. I remember he had 4 matches that night, and he wore 4 different outfits to every match. Let's see. Facts about WrestleMania 4. Let's see. Facts and stats officially from the WWE.com. The WWE Championship was declared vacant in the days leading to WrestleMania 4. The first time the title has ever been vacant since Buddy Rogers became the champion in 1962. So, if anybody asks you when was the first time the WWF Championship was ever vacant, there's your answer. WrestleMania 14 featured a 14-man tournament to the vacant WWE Championship. This is the only time this has happened in the long history of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 4 was the first time the WWE Championships changed hand at WrestleMania. First, the tag team match. Second, Hogan defeated Money in the Cage. And third, Hogan retained over Andre. I think a lot of people don't realize that Hogan was a champion going into WrestleMania 3. I think a lot of people think that Hogan won the title at WrestleMania 3. But it was, he was a champion. The opening match for WrestleMania 4 was a 20-man Battle Royal. The second Battle Royal in WrestleMania history. Andre the Giant won the first. Well, that's why it's called the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. WrestleMania 14 had 15 matches, the most of any WrestleMania event. We need to see something about that now. Now, we know WrestleMania 35 had a bunch. Let's see. WrestleMania 35 might have beat that with 16. So, this has not been updated since they posted it, but Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth wore different outfits for each of the 4 matches that were involved at WrestleMania 4. So, there's a little fun fact. You were there, McGrady, at WrestleMania 4? You were there, McGrady? No, I know what you're talking about. You were there at WrestleMania 35. 16 matches, that might have felt like a lifetime being there. I will be honest with you. Also, too, we do need to go still back in time. Not all the way to 1988. But we need to go to the final Nitro. Yes, the final Nitro was 21 years ago yesterday. And I'll be honest, I watched a lot of 2001 WCW, late 2000 WCW. And yes, it was kind of still goofy and it still had Russo over it. But I think they could have done really good things with WCW if it survived. Okay? Because you have Booker T winning the WCW championship. Let's see. So he retained the United States WCW World Heavyweight Championship. You had Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. That cruiserweight division was before the X division. Shannon Moore, Evan Courageous, Kaz Hayashi, and Yang. Which I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those could have been the future of the WCW Cruiserweight division. Shane Helms defeated Chavo Guerrero. Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo defeated Lance Storm and Mike Awesome. Sean Stasiak defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman defeated Elix Skipper and Kid Romeo to win the WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship. And Sting defeated Ric Flair. That really was, I think they could have done something with WCW if it would have survived. Now, we all remember Vince McMahon would come out in the Cleveland episode of Raw. He's like, I now own WCW. And then Shane O'Mac would come out Panama City Beach, Florida, and be like, well, the contract does say McMahon, but it says Shane McMahon. Come on now. If they would have just survived and have Shane continue the legacy of WCW and not done the Doofy Alliance angle, which we are going to get to, because I have watched years and years and years of Alliance rebooking or Alliance if I had, what could have been. And I've always thought the perfect plan for the Alliance angle, the whole invasion angle, but that's going to be another YouTube channel another YouTube video for another time, okay? But let's get modern history right now. We're back. TNA last night. I only bring this up, which is perfect, because the great Buff Bagwell appeared in TNA. Absolutely insane to see Buff Bagwell coming back into the spotlight. I've always liked Buff Bagwell. I thought the Blockbuster was one of the greatest moves in the world. That was like my finisher on like SmackDown versus Raw. So seeing him coming back and everything he went through, losing his own leg, which is insane. But he's in good spirits now. DDP is just a saint and has helped Buff Bagwell. He's still looking to wrestle maybe in the future with one leg. I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, it works for Zach Gallen. So I'm just glad Buff Bagwell is doing good. Because TNA right now, they're having a show. I haven't looked at the results, but we can look at it now. We're going to check out TNA Sacrifice. Let you know what's going on right there. We're going to read the results. In the pre-show, Ryan Nemeth defeated BDE by pinfall. Tessa Blanchard defeated Jody Threat. Leon Slater defeated Eric Young. That was Eric Young's Feast or Fire Tag Team X Division match. Frank Kazarian and AJ Francis Top Dollar defeated Elijah and the Hometown Man. Ariana Grace defeated Yelling Zing and Dana Luna. Order 4, Mustafa Ali and Tasha Stills defeated Trey Miguel and Jada Stone. Moose defeated Eddie Edwards. Mara Saeed defeated Elena Black. In a no disqualification match, the System, Brian Myers, and Cedric Alexander defeated Jeff Hardy and Vincent. And right now, Mike Santana and Steve Macklin are battling out. Oh no, it ended in a no contest. So that is the main event. Let's see, main event was Mike Santana's TNA World Championship against Steve Macklin. Santana hit a super kick that appeared to have caused Macklin to suffer a concussion, causing him to collapse. The referee immediately signaled for medical insurance assistance, and TNA officials attended to Macklin. Eddie Edwards, who had future subtable, Santana eventually officially retained the title due to the match being ruled a no contest. Oh, so I don't know if that's an angle. So I hope Steve Macklin is okay, because that would not be very good, because Steve Macklin's a good guy, and I don't want to see him injured. But they did sign Ricky Sosa, internet phenom. I think his thing is like, bang, bang, Sosa, bang, bang. So, good for Ricky Sosa and the bang, bang. We'll talk a little bit about AEW. AEW is having their Dynasty pay-per-view next month. I'm not a big fan of AEW. I'm not. But it's good to see them have constant pay-per-views, consistent. I know back in the day, they had like one, and 3 months later they have another one, and 3 months later they have another one. This is going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, a place I've always wanted to go to. FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood is going to take on Edge and Christian. Yes, Adam Cole and Christian Cage. It's Edge and Christian. Moxie versus Will Ospreay, and MJF versus Kenny Omega. What a card already. What a card, and you have a little less than a month to build it up. So, 2 more things about AEW. Chris Jericho, if he's going to come back to WWE, if he's going to stay in AEW, we don't know. He filed the trademark for Cornerstone. So, well, I don't know, whatever. And Wardlow, a guy I was really big into, really thought he was the future of AEW. His whole feud with MJF. And then what was it, the devil and all that stuff with Adam Cole. He's going to be on American Gladiators in April. I love American Gladiators. That is one of the things I used to watch as a young little jiggles. 1989 series back in the day, with the shooting with the tennis balls and the kung kung kung. And it was like Nitro and Turbo and, Let's see. Malibu, Lance, Lace, Zap, Gemini, Nitro, Sunny, Blaze, Bronco, Gold, Laser, Jade, Titan, Diamond. I know Rico Constantino was part of, he was a gladiator, but Havoc and Sky and Hawk and Jazz. So they're having a reboot, 2026 edition. They did a couple years ago. I don't think it really got off the ground too much. 2008, Hogan and Layla Ali. This one really didn't do too good. But now they're rebooting it, which let's get some information. Because I'm going to watch it. I really like, American Gladiators. I wish I could just find, this is why you're not prepared to be a host of a show there, Jackson. No, I'm joking. Upcoming TV series, American Gladiators. You got Blaze, Crush, Empire, Huntress, Hurricane, Striker, Supernova, and Voltage. Those are the female gladiators. Male gladiators, Ace. The Bull, which is Eric Bogenhagen, which is Rick Boogs in WWE. Eagle, Fang, which is Michael Wardlow. What a great name. Lightning, Mayhem, Neon, and Jesse Goddard, former TNA Tag Team Champion. So, it's hosted by The Miz, and let's see, narrated by Chris Rose, hosted by The Miz, Mike Mizanin. It's on Amazon Prime, which is one of the 7,000 sites you need to watch things on. By the way, I need to add this as we're talking about that. I love when I have to add things because I remember things. But that is the MMA, or that is the WWE portion of the show. So, WrestleMania is in full effect. I can't wait. Less than, let's see, we are the 27th. 1, 2, 3 weeks away. Or I think that's how you count. 3 weeks away. WrestleMania is coming up. But UFC is a huge fight night tomorrow. I say huge because one of the most popular fighters now, not my kind of guy, Israel Adesanya is coming back to take Joe Pfeiffer in the main event. Izzy Adesanya, if you know, former two-time middleweight champion, defeated the likes of Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori, Alex Pereira. And then he's had a little bit of downfall. He's lost his last 3 fights, Imavov, Duplessis, and Strickland, But he has been the top guy at middleweight for a very, very long time. One of those guys I'm kind of thinking about turning like 180 on. Like I said a few weeks ago, there's a lot of fighters that you don't like, and then you slowly start liking. And the quite opposite, that you do like, and you slowly don't like. But he's facing Joe Pfeiffer. Joe Pfeiffer, 15-3. Last win against... Why did I do this to myself? Absubian Magomedov. I can get the last name. By submission face crank. He is from New Jersey. So we got Jersey versus Nigeria, New Zealander. It's going to be a great card. One person who's also fighting this card, Michael Chiesa, Seattle's own. He's calling it a career. He is one of my favorite fighters to watch. I met him once. 19-7 UFC. Fought on the Ultimate Fighter Live. Now, what was the Ultimate Fighter Live, Matt? I will tell you. They fought live every week. It wasn't like they shot the show, edited together. That was live. They fought, 1 week, and then they wait to see who other fights, and then the quarterfinals, and it was live. Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz, a great season. Defeated Al Iaquinta in the finals to win the lightweight title, tournament title. Went on. He's fought everybody you can really think of. Tony Ferguson, Diego Sanchez, Carlos Condit, Anthony Pettis, Kevin Lee. Who can forget the controversial ending to that fight? Jim Miller, Joe Lozon, Jorge Masvidal. So he's calling it grit. Chiesa's 38, so he's hanging it up. Hope the best for Chiesa. Alex Grasso, Macy Barber in the co-main event. Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Chase Hooper is fighting on the card. Casey O'Neill. Ignacio Bahamondes. So it's going to be it's not in the Apex, which is great. Get out of the Apex and keep going and doing what you're doing. Go to different arenas through the world and stay away from the Apex. Unless it's like Dana White Contender Series. But GSP, one of the greatest fighters of all time. I still say he's like the second or third greatest fighter of all time. He's got a biopic in development. Who would play GSP? UFC legend George St. Pierre. Biopic in development with director Thomas Sato. Now, who would you have play GSP? He is a enigma of a person. Let's see. Who would you have? Who would play GSP in a movie? Let's see. Let's do George St. Pierre biopics. It's not really telling me, which is great because that's what everybody wants to see. But I'm sure, it would be great if they're going to do anything like Mark Kerr and The Rock and The Smashing Machine. It's going to be a good film. GSP, one of the best of all time. Let's see. RAF7 is currently happening. World American Freestyle. We've been talking about this many times on the show. I think it's a really, really cool idea. It's happening tomorrow. I lied. It's happening tomorrow. We talked about Armin Sarukian and Giorgio Paulus. They had their little beef last event. Back and forth. a very controversial post-match brawl. So they're like, money, money, money. So they have that as a main event. Co-main event, Kobe Covington, who's not fighting at the White House, versus Dylan Dennis, a former Bratwurst Award winner. They're facing off at a cruiserweight weight. Kyle Drake facing Parker Kekheason for the Cruiserweight Championship, which this is a little bit heavier than the other cruiserweights. Now, cruiserweights in wrestling is mostly lightweights. This, I want to say, 170. I thought it was a little bit more. Never mind. Wyatt Hendrickson, I'm really looking forward to seeing him fight again, or have a match, wrestle, grapple again. He's insane. He's taking on Trent Hilger, Pat Downey versus Trent Hilday. You know, I really like Royal American Freestyle. Even the next event in April, Cejudo versus Marab. So we'll talk about that next show. Oh, by the way, the next show is going to be March 31st. I want to do a March 31st show. I'm off Tuesday, so we're back Tuesday. But we need to talk about football. We're going to move on to football. And no, not the NFL. No. We're talking about the United Football League. Yes, it just started their second or third season today. We're going to talk a little bit about it, the history. Now, I love the XFL. I did. I really, really, really did. But it expanded to the UFL. They combined it, and now it's one whole league. I want to say The Rock had something to do with it. Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, Russ Brandon. So the most recent champions are the DC Defenders, which is a great name for DC. Well, look at the teams. There's only 8 teams. The Birmingham Stallions from Birmingham, Alabama. Columbus Aviators from Columbus, Ohio. Dallas Renegades. DC Defenders. Houston Gamblers. Louisville Kings. Orlando Storm. And the St. Louis Battlehawks, which is absolutely great. Former teams, Michigan Panthers, Memphis Showboats, and San Antonio Brahmas. That sounds like the Rock on that one. But yeah, UFL is a little bit different. We'll look at like the results and like, I think it's cool. It's an alternative to football. You know, I have a note. My phone is like, hey, UFL starting. I'm like, that's cool. Tell me more. Stallions defeated the Kings 15-3. I think they have, 10 weeks in the semifinals and the finals. So it's a little bit different, obviously. It's a good alternative. Players, I don't know if there's anybody players that we know. I know 2 coaches. Adrian McCarron, who was in Alabama, and Ted Ginn Jr., who played for the Carolina Panthers. They're the coaches of some teams. I don't know any other teams, but yeah, UFL, the rules are a little bit different. Let's see. Kickoff rule is a little different. Pass interference are limited to 15 yards. All touchbacks come to the receiving team's 25-yard line. XFL overtime rule has been carried over in that tie games involved a best-of-3 shootout or 2-point conversions. Wow. The tush push, is prohibited. And adopting the NCAA rules on receptions, requiring the receiver only to have 1 foot in bounds. Now that I like. That could change a lot in the NFL. I'm looking at the leaders. Nobody really know that's like in the NFL. But let's see. 4,607 passing yards. That's like a season for the NFL. Really, really, really good season. 11 rushing touchdowns. You know, it's still a young and developed, doesn't really have too many big names. We'll get a fan culture. DC Defenders won the second title against the Michigan Panthers, and the Birmingham Stallions won the first title against the San Antonio Brahmas. Why did I say Bahamas? But, it's a good um, alternative. But I want to talk about this right now, guys. Put me in, coach. We are ready to play. Baseball season is underway. Yes, MLB had their opening day 2 days ago with the Yankees demolishing the San Francisco Giants. What a game. Aaron Judge went 4-4 in strikeouts, which is 0-4. But wow, what a game for the Yankees. I had Max Fried on my fantasy league. Did great. We're not going to go over every single game every single week, but we'll talk about who's doing good, who's doing bad. Like this team lost 14-2 on their opening day. But it's okay, because I had Mizorowski on my fantasy team. So, White Sox are doing what the White Sox are doing. I'm really looking forward to this season. Can the Dodgers go 3-peat? Who's going to win? Are the Mets finally going to get out of their stranglehold and just realize, hey, we're a good team? The White Sox, are they going to win more games than they lose? Probably not going to happen. Or the Red Sox, are they going to do good? Astros, are they going to recover from missing the playoffs? The Rays and Cardinals, they got to do something. I'm just looking at the games that I'm playing. Dodgers, 3-peats. Mariners, they came so close. Cal Raleigh came so close to being in the World Series, but just missed it. Can the Blue Jays come back and win the AL once again? There is a lot of who or what's going to happen, but we are right in the very beginning. Last time we started was, by the way, 6 months of the show, guys. 50 episodes in, 2 watch-alongs. Thank you all for everybody that's, talked about it. Even if you haven't subscribed, oh, cool, you have a podcast, or liked one of my thumbnails. Every little bit helps. 6 months. It's not going to stop anytime soon, guys. But this season is I'm looking forward to this. Because I'm doing the show. I'm really going to look into baseball. Biggest storylines in MLB 2026. Let's see. The top 12 storylines for MLB. This is from the New York Times. Hopefully I can read this without having to pay it. The Dodgers' quest for a 3-peat hasn't happened since the Yankees. The automated ball strike system debuted. I think it's like 1 for 2. I know it debuted on the opening day. By the way, before we start and go over the most storylines, a lot of people have said just forgetting that MLB was on Netflix. Now, I know Netflix, I kind of feel like Netflix is the #1 streaming service. Could be wrong. But a lot of people are very upset that it was the opening day was on Netflix. I agree. I mean, it's always good to have baseball on, but I don't know. The blackouts, Oh, that wins the World Series. That's a champion who drinks right there. But ABS, it debuted. We'll see how that goes. Tariq Schoolball's final season before his free agency. Elite pitcher. Talking about elite pitcher, Paul Skeens did not make it out of the first inning against the Mets. A really bad start for Paul Skeens. The looming lockout threat. I feel like there's always a lockout. It's always looming every time it's around. It just turns its nasty head, and it's always like, I'm coming for you. Give me money, 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 money. I feel like it's always going to be around. MLB's most fascinating new manager. Of the 8 new managers, 10 if you count Pittsburgh and Colorado, both of whom is easily the most fascinating. That's cool. The wide open AL East. All 5 clubs from the East made the playoffs in the past 5 seasons. I've seen people say that Toronto is going to win the AL East, Yankees, and I think the Rays or Boston and Baltimore are going to win the wild card. Last year, Toronto, Boston, and New York Yankees made it to the playoffs. So the Yankees are the favorite. This is projections. The Mariners try to run it back in the AL West. I sure hope so. I don't like the Astros, so I don't want to see the Astros in the playoffs. Which I did draft Jose Altuve, just because, he is a good ball player. And he's my height. The makeover Met takes the field. Like I said, the Mets have to do something. When you're that good and that embarrassing and you miss the playoffs, managers, executives on the hot seat. So, and like just in every sport, you do good, you got to keep your job. You do bad, you got to lose your job. You do okay, you're most likely going to lose your job. The Yankees last won a World Series in 2009. Barack Obama's first year as president. Cashman is entering his 29th season. Boone his 9th. This is mostly about the Yankees. Carlos Mendoza from the Mets. Astros owner Jim Crane. The Phillies Rob Thompson. And Red Sox Alex Cora. Cubs versus Brewers. Here we go. What is this? Why would it matter? The Cubs. Okay. We got something. Lord Craig Counsell from the Brewers. 5-year, $40 million contract. Rookie of the Year races. I don't really know too much about the Rookie of the Year. Let's see. The NL class features at least 10 Rookie of the Year candidates, including Mets righty Nolan McLean, outfielder Carson Beach, Phillies righty Andrew Painter, and center field Justin Crawford, St. Louis shortstop J.J. Wetholt, and Maryland's outfielder Owen Cassie, and Reds infielder Sal Stewart. The AL field isn't quite as deep, as features 3 veterans from Japan, new first baseman Muntaka Murakami. So that's my pick for Rookie of the Year, as you can see by the hat. Tigers, McGonigal and Clark. Oh, I got to talk about that too. Hold on, I got to add something on the miscellaneous. We'll see. Obviously, the AL. Potential surprise teams. Now, this person has 4 potential surprise teams. Marlins. They said, I like the rotation. The Royals. The Reds. And the Athletics. Now, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be. The Athletics are going to be here in just a few years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them just down the street at a beautiful new ballpark, which, so we have the baseball season. It is underway. We are here. It's going to be a very long 162 plus playoff plus World Series season. So we will be talking about everything that happens up and down the league. Everything, the ABS system, the playoffs, the World Series, the All-Star game, how the White Sox are doing, how bad the White Sox are doing. Aaron Judge, who's going to break some history, But we do got to move on. NBA, the playoffs are almost here. There's a lot of people are upset about this 65-game rule for MVP awards. You play 81 games in the NBA, and if you miss, 81, 65 divided by 2, carry the 116 games, you're not eligible for any awards. I don't think that should happen. That's a huge number, And what determines, if you're going to miss a game, if you have a sprained ankle. I was listening to them talking about this. I'm not going to repeat it, but, everybody's very upset about the new rule that's only been happening for a long time. Look it up. Stephen A. Smith was talking about it this morning on his show. But, the NBA, the Pistons have clinched a playoff position. They are going in. Good for the Pistons. Like I said, Cade Cunningham is one of those guys that people are talking about the MVP, which would be fantastic for Cade. Pistons turned their franchise around. Celtics and Knicks are right there, So, Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavaliers, Raptors, Hawks, and 76ers have all clinched a play-in position. Hornets and the Magic are there, right there with the Heat. One of those three teams, or two of those teams, or I think three of those teams, or they might all go into the postseason in the play-ins. Now, do you consider the play-ins a postseason? Do you consider the play-ins a playoff? But the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, Thunder and Spurs, they have clinched their divisions. Lakers, Nuggets, Thunder, Timberwolves, Rockets, Suns, Clippers, Trailblazers, and Warriors have all clinched a play-in position. So those teams are set. There's no teams that are going to enter the playoffs. There's no teams that are going to fall out of the playoffs because, what is this? What is this? A little bit, okay. So on NBA.com right now, okay, the playoff picture, we're going to talk about if the 2025-2026 season ended right now, today, the play-in, Trailblazers and the Warriors, Suns and Clippers. In the East, Magic and Heat, 76ers and Hornets. Okay? So, and then the Thunder 1 seed, Pistons 1 seed. I think get rid of the play-ins. I think it's silly. More baseball is better. Basketball and baseball. But yeah, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Jazz, and Kings have all been eliminated. Pacers, Nets, Wizards, Bulls have all been eliminated. But the Buccaneers seem to be the only team that are holding on to a thread. So, yeah. We'll talk about the play-ins when it happens, but that mostly is going to be the teams that will go in. Trailblazers, Warriors, Suns, and Clippers. And then the Hornets, 76ers, Heat, and Mavericks. Magic, I wish the Mavericks. Not this year. Not this year. All right, we're going to move on to the NHL. Their postseason is coming up too. Now, I don't think the Buffalo Sabres have officially clinched. I've been talking about it. We've been joking about it. But for real, it's getting down to teams clinching the playoffs. Okay, I have the same thing. Same exact thing. If the playoffs started today, the Buffalo Sabres would face the Boston Bruins. Tampa Bay Lightning, Montreal Canadiens. Carolina versus the Islanders. And Pittsburgh versus the Blue Jackets, another team we talked about how bad they have been, and they have turned their franchise around because of the show. Colorado, Nashville, Dallas, Minnesota, Anaheim, Utah Mammoth, and Edmonton versus VKG. Now that's if the playoffs start today. We still got a few games, about 20-ish games to go. But I think is going to really be who is going to be in the playoffs. We look at the standings. I don't think any team's really looking into the outside and hoping to get the playoff chances. Let's see. The division. Let's see. The Rangers are eliminated. The Canucks are eliminated. So I think really that's it. The Golden Knights, actually, no, they're doing pretty good. So, I don't know how this works in hot conference. So, it's the top 8 teams. Islanders, Hurricanes, Buffalo Sabres. I don't know. Oh my God, Buffalo Sabres. We'll see what happens. But that is the playoffs. We're gonna talk about the playoffs. I cannot wait. Playoff basketball, playoff hockey, fantastic. Now we went to Brat's brackets, and it's just a whole complicated mess. Okay, I got so many red X's, so many green check marks. It's so hard to read, but I do want to just get to the actual bracket. Okay, let's get to the actual bracket of how it works. Okay, Sweet 16, Duke defeated St. John's. They're now in the Final Four. No, the Elite Eight, excuse me. Michigan State, UConn. Michigan State lost to UConn, or is losing to UConn just by a few points. Nebraska lost to Iowa. Illinois defeated Houston, so Illinois, Iowa in the Elite Eight. Duke is awaiting the winner of Michigan State and UConn. In the West, Arizona, Purdue. I got Arizona going all the way, and Duke. And then in the Midwest, Michigan is waiting the winner of Tennessee and Iowa State. So, I don't know my bracket. It's all messed up. Every year it's the same thing. Bracket buster, bracket this, bracket no perfect brackets. Of course, okay. If I could look into the future, I would do one perfect bracket just to mess with everybody's mind. But, we don't talk about it much, but we got to talk about it because this is a sports show and he is the greatest of all time. Tiger Woods had a little incident today. Arrested on the suspicion of DUI after rollover crash on Jupiter Island. Woods was not injured in the wreck, but described by law enforcement as lethargic. He faces 2 charges after he was arrested on suspicion of DUI. Investigators said Woods was traveling at a high speed when the crash occurred, which is near the golfer's home. He might be impaired, said one of the officers. The driver of the vehicle looked in the mirror and saw a Range Rover overtaking him. I heard that Woods didn't want to take a test. They did several tests on him. He was placed under arrest and taken to Martin County Jail. Investigators don't believe Woods was impelled by alcohol, but possibly some type of medication or drug. Maybe Woods probably took like a painkiller. I can imagine golf is hard on your back. Best friend Terrell is a huge golfer. He really is. He does a long drive competition. He's really good at that. Like, he really is. He needs to start doing that again. I wouldn't text him and be like, hey, do that again. We all remember that one incident, when he, it wasn't 2021, right? Severe crash in California in 2021. I feel like that was way before 2021. Like, he ran into a tree or something, but, Tiger Woods, don't do that. You got you're a millionaire. Get an Uber. Like, come on now. What are we doing here? What are we doing? But, let's look at the golf section of the show. I know, the Masters happens, and we'll talk about the Masters, or, whatever it is. The gold jacket one. But, a little bit miscellaneous, me and my history. The Roast Battle, Roastamania is happening tomorrow at Wise Guys in Town Square. Get your tickets now. I'm going to look at the card. You're not going to know any names, but, really go and check it out if you can. I'm going to give you my predictions right now. I'm going to be live on air right now. It is the Roastamania Night of Champions. The main event, the OOC, Mike Krasner versus the champion Joe Calise. I've never seen Mike roast. He is a funny, actually, that is 100%. I've never seen Mike in a roast battle, but I've seen Mike roast people. I think we're going to see a new world champion, the OOC, Mike Krasner. The Women's Championship, Mila D. Love Mila D. She's taking on the champion and flag. I can't ever go against Mila D. She was there on my first live show. So I think Mila D is going to become the women's champion. Now, the Intercontinental Champion, Evan Connolly, the guy who beat me in my first battle, made it look way too easy, is taking on Haley Brooks. Haley Brooks is the Intercontinental Champion. I've heard she started off rough. She's made it to that championship spot. But, no matter how much I hate Boston, I think Evan Connolly brings that title home from Boston. 3 title changes. In the number 1 contendership, Johnny Ravenscroft versus Gizmo. Like these two very much. I just think Johnny Ravenscroft has a little bit more uniqueness to him in his jokes and his roast. So I see Johnny Ravenscroft moving on. and Brittany Doss versus Jake Yarborough. Don't know too much about them personally. I've seen Jake do comedy hundreds of times. Brittany not so much. But the last time I seen Jake do comedy and a roast, he did great. So I'm saying Jake is winning that. I don't know what champion that is, but as the two-time winner of the Trash of the Night, I will certainly be there to watch a new Trash of the Night recipient. But yeah, really, in a honest, go check it out. Roastomania, Wise Guys in the Art District. Tickets only, let's see, $10, right? It's not, let's see. Oh, okay, $28. So yes, $28. It is worth it. You gotta be 21 to get in, but check it out. And then stay to see Rick Diaz tomorrow, the next day, March 29th. But the one thing we're gonna end it on, if you know me, you know one thing. I love Harry Potter, and the new trailer is posted for the HBO's Philosopher's Stone teaser. Now, I don't know too much about these actors, but obviously we don't know too much about Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson. So, they changed a little bit around. Snape, they made him a different actor than what you would think, which is okay. Sometimes that's okay to change. I'm trying to find the trailer. Let's see. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, HBO. I'm going to look at these actors. It's a TV series, so it's not going to be a TV movie, which would be great. I would love for them to just come out another bunch. But let's see. The trio, Dominic McLaughlin as Harry Potter, Alistair Stout as Ronald Weasley. What a great name. Alistair Stout as Ronald Weasley. Did I say Reagan? Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger. Fantastic. We got Neville, Seamus, Lavender Brown, Slytherin, Locke Pratt as Draco Malfoy. Draco is one of my favorite. Hufflepuff. Let's see. We got Hannah Abbott. That's a character. India Moon as Hannah Abbott. Ravenclaw. The Hogwarts staff is really what I want to get into. John Lithgow as Dumbledore. We all know him as the Shrek guy. Janet McTeer as McGonagall. Now, Papa as a D, excuse me. He is gonna play Snape. I think a lot of people are upset because, I know he kind of joked about it. He is an African American, and Snape is, described as a, white guy. But you can change things around. Nick Frost as Hagrid is gonna be great, and then you got the Dursleys, and then you got Johnny Flynn as Lucius Malfoy. It's gonna be 8 episodes. So I'm gonna check it out. Go check it out. It looks a little bit too much like the first book and first movie, but obviously it is the first book. Season 1 will have a total run times of 8 hours. Season 1 will have 8 episodes, which would place the runtime of each at 1 hour. It started production. I'm gonna check it out. It comes out Christmas this year, 2026. Hopefully they don't take 74 years to come out with new episodes. I can't deal with that shit. Okay? But really, that's it. Anything with Harry Potter, there's really nothing else I want to talk about. Let me make sure we got everything. So, let's hit the music. Hello? All right. SmackDown. WrestleMania. Let me just make sure there's no other WrestleMania matches announced. WrestleMania. Yeah. So every match we had: Drew, Jacob, Sammy, Trick, AJ, Becky, Ova, Brock, Jade, Rhea, Cody, Randy, Stephanie, Liv, Punk, Roman. That is getting to the piece of the puzzle. Bad News Round, Sid Justice Hall of Fame. Let's add Bray. 38 years ago, WrestleMania 4, the Macho Man. Good to see Buff Bagwell. TNA is going. Sacrifice. AEW. Oh, I didn't pick Adesanya versus Pfeiffer. Let's get Adesanya back in the win column. And Michael Chiesa, let's have a good farewell to him. REF 7, I'll check out. We'll talk about Tuesday. The UFL, check it out. It's a good alternative. Opening day, 162 games to go. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the bracket, the Sweet 16. Tiger Woods, take an Uber. WrestleMania 10. Tomorrow, you have my predictions. Harry Potter, I'm going to be there because I'm not a Mongol. And, my throat's starting to hurt me. So, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and check out bodyslam.net for all your wrestling news. But, guys, I got to get off. I've been on here for almost an hour. So, love yourself, love each other, and love sports. I'll be back on Tuesday. All right. Bye, guys.